Huge news for NIO and Chinese stocks in general. Over the past few months in my NIO videos, I have spoken about the impact that the delisting fears was having on US listed Chinese stocks. Then in last week's video, I spoke about Cathie Wood buying into NIO, and I was wondering why now. Cathie Wood's ARK Invest had been dumping Chinese stocks in 2021, but was recently loading up again on Xpeng, Bid, and buying into NIO for the very first time. Anyways, we have just had some fantastic news for NIO, and in this video I will look at this, and I will look at NIO's delivery figures that have just been released, and much more, including my price prediction for the near term. If you like this content, can you smash the like button? It literally costs you nothing, but it helps me out so much, and it shows me that you want me to create more update videos for NIO. As always, this is not financial advice, but if you do enjoy this content or find value in this video, then show your support for the channel, like and subscribe. Now let's get into it with the latest news. So yesterday we got big news that China considers allowing full US access to most firms' audits. Now this is a big breakthrough, and we have had another update on this today, so let's have a quick look at this first for context. Chinese authorities are preparing to give US regulators full access to the audit reports of more than 200 companies listed in New York as soon as mid-year, in a rare concession to prevent further decoupling between the country and the United States. Now this is huge. First of all, this is something that has been hanging over US listed Chinese stocks for a long time now. And the recent war going on in Ukraine has made things worse by the fact that Russia and China have close ties. So another fear is that this was going to get worse. If more countries get involved in the conflict, then it could eventually end up making it impossible to have Chinese listed companies in the US, but that is a matter for another day. Even with this agreement, however, Beijing is prepared to accept that some state-owned and private companies that hold sensitive data will be delisted. Already, this is something that has been hanging over these companies for years. If the plan is implemented, it would mark an unusual reversal for Beijing, potentially ending a decades-long dispute. Delisting risk has been a key factor in the depressed valuation of Chinese companies listed abroad in the past year, and as a result, shares of US listed Chinese companies rose sharply on Friday. But then today, April 2nd, we had a further update. China's securities regulator issues new draft regulation, hinting at positive surprise on audit issues. The China Securities and Regulatory Commission today issued an announcement that it will revise its regulations on confidentiality and file management for Chinese companies listed abroad and will seek public comment. The public has until April 17th to provide feedback. The CSRC will provide institutional safeguards for the safe and efficient conduct of cross-border regulatory cooperation. This seems to imply that the CSRC is prepared to allow US regulators to see audit papers when investigating locally listed Chinese companies. Cross-border audit and regulatory cooperation is mentioned again and again in this article. If the provision is necessary for audit work, the new rules reiterate that companies must fulfill the necessary approval or filing procedures in accordance with the relevant laws and regulations, but will not impose excessive compliance costs on companies. In my opinion, this is fantastic. For a lot of Chinese stocks, this is something that I have mentioned time and time again over the past year regarding NIO. But what do you think? Leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. In more specific NIO news, just yesterday, NIO provided a March and first quarter 2022 delivery update. So let's have a quick go through this. NIO started deliveries of the ET7 in March. NIO delivered 9,985 vehicles in March, increasing by 37.6% year over year. They delivered 25,768 vehicles in the 3 months ended March 22, increasing 28% year over year, bringing total deliveries for NIO up to 192,000. So the deliveries consisted of 1,700 ES8s, 5,000 ES6s, 3,000 EC6s, and 163 ET7s, the company's new flagship sedan. Importantly, before anyone jumps on the fact that they sold so few of this new model, deliveries of the ET7 to users only commenced on March 28th, so that is only 4 days. And I'll talk more about this in just a moment. In late May 2022, The company plans to unveil the 2022 ES8, ES6 and EC6 with the latest digital cockpit hardware. Regarding its power network, NIO has deployed 884 power swap stations, 727 power charger stations and 3,832 destination chargers in China, and will continue to expand. As I said a moment ago, NIO delivered 9,985 vehicles in March, and we can see here the level of growth over 3 years, from just 1,500 to 7,000 to nearly 10,000 in that time. But in the past month, several Chinese cities have gone into lockdown because of the latest outbreak of the COVID pandemic. I believe that this has actually been the first full-scale lockdown since March 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Shanghai, where NIO's global headquarters is located, entered a phased lockdown during March 28th, and prior to that, many residential areas had been cordoned off due to the presence of COVID cases. So I would have to imagine that this had a huge impact on those ET7 deliveries. On March 30th, NIO's co-founder and president responded to a question from a user on the NIO app, saying that NIO's new SUV ES7 would be released by the end of May, so I look forward to seeing the impact of this. Looking here at the deliveries throughout 2020 and 2021, the number has been steadily increasing. In fact, it wasn't until September 2021 that NIO hit 10,000 deliveries in a single month. And despite the COVID lockdown, NIO fell only 15 deliveries short of making this the fourth 10,000 delivery month in the past 7 months. So NIO is making steady progress. Looking at MarketBeat, we can see that NIO is currently $21.93 and the average analyst price target is over $50. But the most recent price targets were set this week. Both Mizuho and Nomura have set buy ratings for NIO stock but have lowered their price targets. New price targets of $51 and $60 offer huge upside from what we have been seeing for the past few months and reflects a much more positive market sentiment than we've seen back as recently as January. Now, NIO gets compared to its Chinese rivals quite frequently, even though these companies are focused solely on the Chinese market while NIO is trying to expand globally. And despite the COVID lockdowns and disruptions to production and deliveries, Chinese EVs, NIO, XPeng and Li Auto delivered more EVs in March than February, even as they faced a number of challenges in the past few weeks. Of the three, XPeng delivered the most EVs, delivering 15,400 vehicles in March, up 148% from February. For the first quarter, they delivered a total of 34,561, which is a 159% year-on-year increase. Li Auto delivered 11,000, up 31% from February, and for the first quarter, they delivered 31,716 vehicles, an increase of 152% year over year. While NIO delivered 9,985, as I've already said, up 62% from February, and 25,000 vehicles in the first quarter of 2022, which is a 28% year over year increase. However, NIO does have new launches, so I am expecting much higher numbers as the year goes on. And talking about these new launches, NIO is to deliver 3 new EVs in 2022. Deliveries of the ET5 sedan is expected to start in September, and William Li has stated that 2022 will be a year of re-acceleration for NIO. We will deliver 3 new products based on the NIO Technology Platform 2. On top of its growing user base in China, NIO expanded into global markets with the launch and delivery of NIO vehicles in Norway in September 2021, but plans to offer products and services in more countries and regions this year, including Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden and Denmark. Looking at the charts, there are some lines here that I drew from my previous video, and we can see that this area here is where NIO has broken out of this downward channel and is very much on an upward trend over the past few weeks. And I expect this to continue upwards in the coming weeks and months, as we have many catalysts that we already know about in the near term, and then I'm sure there'll be some other more surprise press releases too. I still stand by my view that NIO will reach the high 20s and maybe get back into the 30s during this quarter alone, which would be somewhere between a 30 and 50% gain within just a number of weeks. But that is just my opinion, and I am not a financial advisor. Importantly, what do you think of NIO stock right now? Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? And where do you think the share price will be in the coming weeks or the next 12 months? Drop a comment and let me know, what are your plans for this stock? Are you buying, holding, or selling? And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and have a blessed day.